Hi, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your campus groups as we start off this new season of getting together in small community groups, which, as I mentioned, are called campus groups. I hope you're enjoying the fellowship, the prayer, the conversation and study, and I know there's some great food at all your groups, so just enjoy each other tonight. Anybody know the name Anthony Pratt? Probably not, but you do know the board game called Clue, which he invented. A great game of where 6 people can gather around a board with spots to stop on. You use dice, and as you go through the board, you try to find out who killed the perpetual victim. And as you land on spots, you can get clues and build evidence, and then at the end maybe say something like, oh, Colonel Mustard killed this victim in the library using a candlestick. Lots of fun. Well, out of that game, I developed a love for television shows and movies about whodunit. Like shows like CSI, fascinating, where investigators collect evidence and build a case against someone they believe who's done it. In my own life, I liked to have evidence about the truth of things. Now, as I grew up as a kid, it wasn't as important to me as when I was about 16. I was really having a spiritual awakening where God was at work in my heart and life, and I came to believe that the evidence was solid for the existence of God, for me to believe in this book called the Bible, that it was truthful, and most importantly, that Jesus Christ paid for my sins by dying on the cross in my place and then being raised from the dead. That's my worldview, a theistic worldview. And as I continued to move along after that 16th year, I kept developing more evidence and supporting evidence about my worldview. It continues even now. My worldview is always being strengthened as to the reality of the existence of God and His plan for my life. But my worldview is not the only one. There is an atheistic worldview out there that says there is no God. They would claim that there's no real evidence, or that if there is any evidence, it's weak when it comes to the existence of God. As we start this year off together, we're reading the book called The Problem of God. And this week, we're looking at the subject, second chapter, called The Existence of God, where it's really around the evidence for the existence of God. And out in the world, there is a small but vocal group of atheists, secularists, who would say, as I mentioned, that there's no solid, credible evidence for the existence of God. However, if you do your research, as I've been doing, there is a vast number of highly regarded, renowned, respected, and even awarded scientists who would disagree. They would say, like physicist Paul Davies, who says, it may seem bizarre, but in my opinion, science offers a surer path to God than religion. Isn't that fascinating? He sees in his work as a scientist a surer path to discovering the existence of God. Well, I love when I hear things like that, and I've read over and over scientists who say, yes, as I work in my field, I see the hand of God. Do you remember the show called Jerry Maguire? Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character was Rod Tidwell, a sports guy. He was a football player. And Jerry Maguire, played by Tom Cruise, was an agent. And they're on the phone together in one of the most poignant moments of the film. And Jerry Maguire, Tom's character, is trying to convince Rod Tidwell, the athlete, to allow him to represent him. And he's giving him a great story about how well he can do for them. And all that Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character can say, which is well known by all of us, is, show me the money. He says it many times with great passion. I think in many ways that's the line. In another way, the world speaks. The world says, show me the evidence. And they say it passionately. I'd say if everyone sets aside their predetermined bias to whatever view, that they held, the evidence will point them to existence of a first cause. And we call that God, that one who created everything. Sir Isaac Newton, who's been touted as the greatest scientist the world has ever produced, and was a devout Christian, said this: "In the absence of any other proof, the thumb alone would convince me of God's existence." Just this one little appendage, he sees the hand of God, just how marvelous the creation of that thumb. And of course, when you think about the rest of the body, you think about how the world works, the universe works, you come to a conclusion that there is a divine creator, a divine intelligence behind all of this. As you study tonight and converse about this subject, I hope you're encouraged to start to do some of your own research about how science has proved over and over the existence of God. There are literally hundreds of scientists in all kinds of fields that would speak to the fact that they see a divine hand in how this world and this universe has come to be. Enjoy your time tonight. Enjoy just being together, your friendships, your faith, and discussing, I think, a very important topic, which when you get a grasp of it, you can be used by God to help others come to see that the evidence for his existence is sure and that they can put their faith and trust in him. God bless. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.